Hey, what's up? I'm Basil Barrington.
I'm DJ Keo. Thanks for
Thanks.
joining us again.
Yes, thanks for checking out another episode of the Behind the Groove podcast. Okay, Keo, you suggested
Mhm.
that I take a look at this movie,
Yeah, yeah.
Army of the
So,
Dead.
okay. First, before anything, what do you rate the movie? What'd you think?
Okay, so we're talking about Army of the Dead. This is a Netflix movie, um,
hmm
and it's a zombie movie, right?
hmm
Um, and before we get into anything, I guess I'm gonna give it a what's the scale?
1 to 10. One to
1 to
ten.
10?
What do you give it?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a, I'm going to give it like a 6.5 or 7.
Okay. Yeah. I would say about a 7.
Yeah.
I'm in the 7 range. There's things I
Right.
like. There's things I didn't like.
Yeah.
Like overall, it's a fun movie. It's
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 a
a
fun
popcorn
movie.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like it's cool. I didn't really have issues with it. I like the sci-fi elephants. We'll get into that in a second. So we'll do a synopsis of the movie. So basically, there's a zombie outbreak. It happens in Las Vegas,
Of all
and
places.
yeah, of all places, coming out of Area 51,
Right.
and so they get to the well, they'll say this that the zombie breaks out, crazy carnage goes on in Las Vegas. They
Mhm.
quarter out the city. They draw a circle around the city with the containers, shipping containers.
And how, I mean, okay, so that was the something that sort of tripped me out because it's like, okay,
Mhm.
so they sort of, basically use containers, like, shipping containers, three
Yeah,
containers high to sort of like block off the city, right?
yeah, yeah.
So
So I guess
why
they
wasn't the zombies able to like just jump up and go over the containers?
well, okay. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah,
So all right, they get around. They put containers around Las Vegas, and then they basically they're gonna destroy the city. They're gonna hit it with the nuke, make
like
sure everything burns the thing down.
a low nuclear, sort
Yeah,
of nuke. Hmm.
low yield nuke,
Right.
and they're gonna burn it down. And then some people who used to be in the army and some people who were there who helped save people who were stuck in the city, who saved
Right.
them when the initial outbreak happened.
Hmm.
So one of the casino owners goes to one of these guys that were there and saved them and says, "Hey, would you like to help us get some money out of the city? We already got insurance money on it, so we got our money. It's already
Mr.
paid for, or
Tanaki.
whatever. Yeah. So just go in there, snatch whatever you can. You guys take your cut, give us the rest of it,
Right.
go out, and then they're gonna burn the city down. Go for it." And so
Hmm.
this is the premise of their overall movie.
Right.
So these
Oh,
guys got to go there.
okay. So from the top, um,
Mhm.
so it
We're going
started
spoiler
off.
from here on out. Spoilers.
Spoil. I mean, like, listen, we watched the movie. We're reviewing a movie. You're going to know what happens. So if you don't
Mhm.
want to know what happens, don't listen and don't view.
Yeah, you can
But
stop or watch it and then come back and watch the video.
right, exactly. So in the beginning, how it starts is, this couple gets, I guess they get married, so they're out in like the Nevada desert, right outside of
Yeah, yeah.
Vegas, and they're in a car, wifey gives old boy like some
Having a good
head,
time.
some
Like
dome.
having some good time.
He's getting some dome in the car,
Yeah.
and
Smashes into the convoy.
right. So there's a convoy that has like another sort of like much more secure sort of like trailer on top of it. That's what they're
Mhm.
transporting, but
Mhm.
they're also transporting it towards. It looks like they're transporting it towards Las Vegas. I don't know, but and so this guy, he's getting some dome in the car, so he nods off, well, because whatever. And then he smashes into the convoy.
Mhm.
And then this, container, is open and it's just one zombie in it, right?
Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of speculation about how did this one zombie come to be.
Right.
Was it experiments from the government
Hmm.
or was it aliens? And this is the tricky part about this movie. This movie seems to be a heist, and then a sci-fi movie, and then a time warp movie.
Okay.
And this is the, I guess the problem is Zach. When Zach makes a movie, he's got to throw Easter eggs in everything he does. And so one of his movies you got to watch like 3-4 times before.
Well, wait a minute. He didn't throw any Easter eggs in 300 though.
Yeah, I mean for the comic, I guess if you read the comic book, there's Easter eggs in there for that. But like generally, he likes to throw stuff like for the first movie about the Dawn of the Dead or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, that was the first movie, Dawn of the Dead. I can't remember what it's called. His first zombie movie.
That was the first zombie movie I ever saw, too, Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, it was? Okay. Yeah. I saw the Romero ones. Okay, yeah. I've never seen a zombie movie in the theater until that one.
Yeah.
But like yeah, I seen the old school zombie movies from the 70s or 60s, the black and white ones. Yeah, I seen those. Like so he had Easter eggs from those movies. I'm like, okay, he has to. He can't help himself. Right. There's no Easter eggs in there. So when they're doing the transport, you can clearly see 2 UFOs in the sky just go like flying in a place that a speed that planes can't do.
Right.
So the going theory is that this guy, the alpha zombie, is either alien created or some kind of hybrid from something that the army's been doing.
Right.
Because that was the point in the movies that the army wanted them to bring back the queen or the head of the queen so they can do more experiments. So they lost.
That was Mr. Tanaki wanted that. That was his motive, really. He wasn't really. Yeah, he
didn't care about the money. Right, he didn't care about the money.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing about this, and the thing has been, I've seen the movie twice, and the thing that I noticed is that the people that are trying to break into the casino, you can see them 3 times in the movie or 2 times in the movie. So this is their 3rd attempt in trying to get the money. So the first attempt where you can see them is right when they first break into when they get through that trailer area with the zombies, and they go past this area where there's a map. And it's the layout of the casino. Scott Ward, Dave Bautista.
Scott Ward. Yeah.
So he says, "Oh, it looks like there's other people who are here trying to get
exactly.
Who tried to get it. Well, if you look closely, it's the same people. Right. They're wearing the same clothes.
Well, that's what sort of Van said. He alluded to that. Remember?
Yeah. He's alluded to like where maybe this is a loop, and I forgot what the exact quote is. So like this is like when I saw that, I'm like, what the hell is going on? This is not a zombie movie anymore.
So, but how did that? But here's the thing. So, okay, so that happened early on. This was when they were building the containers around Las Vegas. You know, when they were trying to get out. You know,
when they got, I think the first time we see them is after they walk in. The movie crew, I guess the 3rd attempt. When they walk through the casino in the beginning of the movie, do you see the map there and the people there?
Right.
So I think they're suggesting that's the first attempt. The second attempt is when they were in the actual vault.
Right. Yes, exactly.
And then the 3rd attempt is, or as the 4th attempt. I can't remember which one is the 3rd or 4th.
Did he not?
Attempt.
Did Van alluded that they even had the same clothes on as they had on? Like, you know.
And then they flashed they had a montage of them showing the girl with the key.
Right.
They had the bandana, and then the pilot had the Hawaiian shirt. And so like you're getting this trippy world right now where like, what is the point of this movie? Is it a zombie movie?
Right.
Is it a time warp movie? Did you see I think it's Palm Springs? There was a movie that came out earlier last year on, I think it's Amazon.
No, I didn't see that.
So it's another time warp type movie where people are like stuck in a loop. It's like Groundhog's Day.
Okay.
With Bill Murray. So like there's a bunch of movies like this where there's got this time thing going on, and they got to do the right thing to stop the loop.
Right.
And so like I don't know where this is going exactly.
Well,
I would like to see what happens.
Yeah. So you think there may be, well, before we even think about a sequel, okay, so these zombies are in a city. They're in Las Vegas. So first of all, when the military convoy like crashes into the guy getting dome, and this, the zombie comes out, the alpha zombie escapes. He kills all these soldiers, and then the bite, kills them, but then they come back to life. And because he's the alpha, they become alphas as well, because you have two types of zombies. You have the shamblers, and then you have
the regular zombies.
Right, alphas. But here's the thing. How are the shamblers created? I mean, are they by shamblers? And if that's the case, okay, how are the shamblers created? It seemed like to me, right, that just right there when I was trying to figure that out, because, they were like, okay, the shamblers and the alphas, right? And the other interesting thing, like side note, I was like, oh, these are the alphas, right? So Amari, the guy who plays Van, Amari Hardwick, I was wondering if that was something he told Zack Snyder, because Amari is, he's in Alpha Phi Alpha, the fraternity I'm in, and he probably said, hey, call them the alphas because they're smarter, they're faster, they're more intelligent, and that's sort of the sort of thing that people think when they, when you talk about Alpha Phi Alphas, they're smarter, they're, more intelligent, yada, yada, yada. And I'm just like, oh, maybe that was something he said. But, so, okay, so they get into the city, and so these band of like military zombies, alphas, which looked like maybe about, you had the main alpha, then you had like these military folks who
they had the group in the pool area or whatever, from the Black Party Casino. Right. I think that there seems to be some kind of process to make an alpha, because when they got the border security guard, they didn't just bite him. They took him to another room, and then he became an alpha, because he was still aware of what's going on. He wasn't just like biting people randomly. I think that there seems to be some kind of process. So, like if you got regularly bit by somebody, you're a regular zombie.
Well, but was he an alpha? Because, when he finally appeared as a zombie, he wasn't fast and he wasn't smart like an alpha. He got Swiss cheese pretty quickly.
I don't know. Maybe there could be something to that too. I don't know. I think that there seems to be a process that you have to do to become an alpha, because it seems like they had another example of the girl that got the mother that got kidnapped or whatever.
Right. Mm-hmm.
She was in a room rather than they would have just bit her.
Yeah.
But they left her. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they left them in the room.
Right.
And I guess they were waiting to do something to them. So I don't know what that's for exactly yet. So I guess we'll see. So there's actually 3 movies involving this universe already now. So there's a sequel. No, there's a prequel from the safecracker. He directed a movie about him being a safecracker and then coming to Las Vegas. So something to do Europe.
Okay.
And then there's a cartoon that they filmed, and it's like in post-production now. I think both of these things are coming out this year or probably towards the end of this year. I think one of them's coming out maybe August. I can't remember the exact dates, but so there's the sequel and then there's a prequel that are both in this universe. I think basically what I think is Netflix was like, hey, Zach, I like your movies. Here's a Brinks truck of money.
Right.
Make some content for us.
Listen, he got bags for real. Let me ask you this here. Yeah. So what do you think about Las Vegas being sort of like separated by these, containers? And they were just like, okay, we have to like contain these zombies. And so to do that, they use the most rudimentary thing, containers. So how was that possible? Because I'm thinking like if they're containers and you have these super zombies, they could just jump up to the 3rd container and get out. So why didn't they get out? What was that all about? That seems sort of unrealistic to me.
Lily's the coyote.
Right.
She said that this area is they're not trapped in zombies. This area is their kingdom. So I think that she's alluding to the fact that because the alpha is here, the zombies are staying in this area to be around
she did say
the
that.
alpha. So I guess that's the argument for why they didn't decide to go out and affect everybody around the world. Right. But so I guess that was a throwaway line to just kind of justify some stuff.
Zombies.
Like,
who also
this
knew
is zombie
zombies?
movie,
right?
Zombies don't make no damn sense, right?
Right. Who also knew zombies hibernated like at different times of the day too? I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just like,
well,
I gotta sleep.
there's a TV show called Kingdom. And it's a Korean take on zombies. It's really good. If you haven't seen it already, it's on Netflix. If you haven't seen it already, you should watch. It is brilliant. It is a phenomenal show. So like it's like 1600s. Like it's like an old time, like ancient Korea, back when they have a kingdom. And these types of zombies, they're affected by cold and they sleep during the day and they come out at nighttime. So it's more about the heat and the weather, whatever.
So when the guy got the when he had the sort of the queen's head in a bag, and then the Lily, who was, they were counting money before they got into the safe, and so the money counter was near the bag. He had the the queen's head in, and I was like, oh, I know what's gonna happen right now. She's gonna do
that's
the
movie
old
making 101.
switcheroo, right?
yeah. That's movie making 101. You gotta do the foreshadowing.
Right. What do you think about Ludwig opening the massively secured safe just by listening to it and making sure that all the locks are clicked? What do you think about that? Is that even possible?
Here's the thing, though. Tanaka just could have gave him the numbers. This is his casino. Why did he want? I think that was like a fool's errand with no hope of them ever accomplishing it, because it was irrelevant whether they did or not.
Yeah.
That guy wanted to get the head. So I think that's what was the point. So that the fact they even opened it is cherry on top.
Yeah.
Because it seems to me that they were never, like, all the security precautions inside the vault, that's to kill you. You're not supposed to get out of this thing.
Yeah. I mean, you had the darts.
Yeah, you had the darts, you had the machine guns,
and then
you had the walls crush you.
Like crush you. Oh my goodness, that guy got crushed up, man. There was a lot of blood, lots of guts, lots of like internals being smashed out. The whole nine. I think one of the most compelling parts of the movie was when Scott had to kill his wife because his wife was bitten, and his daughter saw him kill his wife, but it had to be done.
Sit there. Yeah. And, oh man, I couldn't. I don't think I could survive the a zombie apocalypse if I have to make decisions like that. I don't know if I could.
No.
Everybody's like, yeah, I could do it. Like, no, I don't know if you could. Like,
yeah.
You can't sleep at night after that. That's the end of your life. Like you're gonna be stressed.
Yeah, like some of the people who were there originally before it was like cordoned off, like the whole city, they were there, fighting these like zombies, and they still had like dreams and nightmares and things of that nature.
Yeah. You're not gonna be able to just walk away from that and be like, everything's great,
man. Brains, guts, internals all over the place, blood. I mean, it's just like, wow, that is incredible, man. What do you think about? Okay, so they get into the safe because this guy Ludwig, he's a locksmith, one of the best, I guess, and after he went through all the sort of like security measures, the darts, the bullets, the wall, the door smashing you, he was able to then like put his ear to the, the safe and sort of open it that way, okay, right?
Yeah.
And so now that they're in, I guess the alpha heard, he heard old boy cutting the queen's head
queen's
off.
Neck.
Yeah. And then once that happened, was he on some sort of a donkey, or what was he on? A donkey or a horse?
I think it was a horse. I think it was a horse. A zombie
horse.
He's just having fun, man. It's one of those movies where the studio's like, just whatever a zombie tiger? Yeah, sure,
Yeah,
whatever. Go
right.
for it.
Like Valentine was. Oh, then the tiger had a name too. Valentine.
Yeah,
So
they were like Siegfried and Roy's tigers. The white tigers from there.
he was
they zombie Elvis. They had everything down there.
right.
Zombie Liberace.
Yeah. So it was just like, oh my goodness, it was crazy. Okay, so here we go. They had the head. They realized that it wasn't about the money. It was about the head, right?
Yeah.
And they were able to get the money. I mean, the escape route, that's the other thing.
Money.
Right. You can't fly in, but you can fly out. And there was just happened to be this helicopter on a roof that was like a bazillion years old that old girl had to sort of fix up a little bit, throw some gas in it, do a little mechanical work, get it to work. And, then they were able to get out the city. Did you think that the crew that he put together to go in to, take this $200 million, did you ever think that, most of them would die?
Yes, it's a zombie movie.
Right.
I automatically assume everyone's gonna die and no one's gonna get what they wanted out of it. But I think that if you notice in the movie, Dieter, the guy who's scared of everything, has never seen a zombie before.
Right.
When he did target practice, he was A1 with his target practice.
Right.
I don't think he's ever held a gun before.
Yeah, that's Ludwig.
So, yeah, I think that there's a very real possibility that
Dieter,
every time they died, that they take some kind of memories or something from the previous experience.
Right.
Because like Vanderhoek, he knew that, okay, well, I can't just walk across to hit these triggers in the vault. I got to go get a zombie to let the zombie take all these L's to get to the vault.
Right.
So he had the first zombie, and the zombie didn't want to go further, so he had to go. He killed it, get another one, and then he knew to microwave the hand because he's like, oh, it's the heat that they need. So he threw the hand over there, and then he finally got the zombie. Like, he was the least. I think that Vanderhoek was the least worried about what to do with regards to the vault.
Yeah.
He knew everything that was going on. He didn't worry. Like, he was like, Dieter was like, hey, we can't open this thing because they messed with the electronics. He already had the C4 on the door.
Right.
So he was like, no, we got, and then he's explaining the whole time loop thing. And then, he knew a lot of stuff about, like, he knew about the alphas before anybody else did. Outside of Lily, she's the only other person, and Martin, they're the only people who knew what the alphas were.
Yeah.
And everybody else who's there, they're like, what's the alpha? They're looking confused. He was like, yeah, the alphas. Like, they're the ones dealing with this stuff. Like, there seems to be something about his character that has something to do with this loop thing and the future of the series. I don't know if it's going to restart after he dies because he got bit, or if like he's going to be the next person to bring he's going to be the new alpha. Cause where they're going to Mexico or something like that. I can't remember.
He was Mexico City.
Yeah. He got in a Learjet with all of his bags of money and went to Mexico.
Okay.
So I think that maybe they do the sequel in Mexico and they don't even do Las Vegas again.
Mexico City is a huge city. That's like, what, 20, 30 million people in that city?
Yeah, it's a big city. Here's
the thing, right? So they nuke the military comes in. The president says, okay, we're not nuking them on 4th of July. We're nuking them, like in the next 24 hours. They nuke the city. He's able to get out because, remember, like, so Dieter, he was fighting the alpha and closed the vault, right? So, and so they nuked the city, and somehow he was able to get out of the vault that was locked, and also get out of the city through some sort of a shaft with bags of money.
He climbed up all the bags of money with him. There's a lot of money too. It wasn't like a little thing. Those things are heavy.
Yeah, I mean, he had like 4 bags, you know what I'm saying, for real.
Yeah. So at least 30, 40 million he carried out.
Also, what's interesting is, like, so when he was carrying the money, he was like, walking out of the city. He pulled up to this old abandoned house, and There
How do
was
you
a.
know the house was there
How
with the
did you know
cars?
that the keys were in the car somehow? You know.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like
So
to me, he seems like the key to the whole
you think
universe.
that's the loop he's back in? You know,
Yeah,
you think he understands that?
I think he's the loop.
Hmm.
There's something to him about what's going on here because somebody made a point on Twitter that he turned his head before was it Scott and what's his name Maria walked into the center where he's doing the recovery with the older people.
Hmm.
He turned his head and smiled before like he's doing the swimming thing with the older lady, and he knew what time they were coming and expecting them, and so he turned his head in a way that seemed like he knew that it was about to happen. Like he seems to be the only one aware about the whole loop thing and what's happening here.
Man, Marie Cruz, whoo, she got her joint snapped. Oh,
Yeah,
the elevator came down, like, she was like, I love you. It was like, bloop. You know, it was like, oh my goodness. And then what was that, like
rough.
the collarbone that just came out of her, like the back
it just
of
popped
her?
out of her shoulder. Like
She was, oh boy, was just like snap. And then when she fell like chest down, but her head was pointing.
Her head is up. That was on purpose, man. There's just a screw.
Dude, that was a clean, that was clean. It was just like blop. And I was just like, wow, this is, man, listen, here's the thing, right? I watched it and I thought that I would have to watch it, like finish up the next day because it is a 2.5 hour movie, right?
Yeah.
But I ended up watching it and, just was watching it and, even some things I didn't understand, I rewind and, was checking it out again, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not a huge zombie movie fan, but even though I gave this a 7, a 6.5, a 7, it was interesting enough to continue watching.
It's enjoyable.
Right. And,
yeah,
when Van, got his private plane and everything, drinking his nice champagne, had and then when he went into the bathroom and he saw that he had gotten bitten, I can only imagine that this can't be the end.
Oh no, there's going. Listen, after
Mexico City.
After Netflix dropped that money truck off at Zach's house, this movie is it's gonna be doing I think 77 or 80 million views on Netflix, which is up there with the highest movies that they put out with Netflix already.
I mean,
it's breaking records for views. So I guarantee they've already made 2 sequels. So the odds
really?
are high. Yeah, I'm saying they had the prequel thing with the Dieter guy,
right?
And they had the cartoon. They've already made before the movie was released. They filmed these 2 things,
right?
And all the actors from the movie did the voiceover for the cartoon. Wow. So I think that the odds are high that Netflix was like, "Hey, make more, make as many as you want." Do Fast and the Furious level things on this thing. Do whatever you want. Make a TV show.
I think, a lot of directors, they're realizing that, you know what? I mean, we don't have to go to the big movie studios to make movies anymore. Man, you have companies like Netflix. Amazon just bought MGM for almost $9 billion.
Yeah,
right?
$9 billion. A joke with that is that they were going to spend I think it's $600 million to buy James Bond, and then they thought about it. They're like, "Well, we'll just buy the whole studio."
Right.
That's what they did.
Yeah, and then you have Apple doing their original content. I mean, Hulu. I mean, again, the movie theaters, movie studios. I mean, the writing's on the wall right now. Now you don't have to I mean, if you're a comedian, you don't have to wait for HBO to give you money to do a comedy special. Netflix will do it for you. Here's 30 million. I want you to do 5 shows, or something like that. Yeah. It's a totally different ball game now when you're sort of in that space where you create movies or shows and things of that nature. It's totally different, man. I mean. Amazon owns the James Bond,
Yeah, and Lord of the Rings.
And Rocky.
Yeah, and Rocky. So they have a bunch of franchises now over Amazon.
Yeah.
And so we're in the full on streaming wars right now.
It's
You have HBO
mm-hmm.
teamed up with Warner Brothers
Yeah.
and Discovery.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So now there's a super conglomerate with that. And then Disney bought Fox. So there's a super conglomerate with that.
Right.
Paramount, Universal, and I think another company joined up together.
Mm-hmm.
And then now you have this thing with Amazon buying MGM.
Yeah.
So they're just buying up all the properties, and you're going to be down to like 3 mega corporations.
I was about to say that. I think
for
I was about to
all
say
entertainment,
that.
3. We're down to 3.
I was about to say that. I think when it's all said and done, it's only going to be 3. Like in this sort of space, it's going to be Netflix. It's going to be Amazon, and the third, I don't know who the third is. I want to say
it's
Apple.
Probably going to be. Yeah, I mean that's a possibility too, because Apple can afford to buy these other studios.
Anything. Apple can afford to buy anything. Yeah.
It's valued at $1 trillion, man. They can do whatever they want.
$2
trillion. Buy a
trillion.
studio.
Yeah,
I'm saying like they can afford to leverage something and then go buy one of these companies. So like that's a real possibility. I do think that Disney's in trouble because Disney needs the theme parks and the cruises. That was the bulk of their money. And then now they have beef with China, so I don't know if that's going to go well. Disney needs to have the world spinning great, where people have money in their bank. They can go on vacation at the Disney theme park. They go take the Disney Princess Cruise Line, and go spend all your money, like $40 for one of these Disney drinks. Like you need a good economy for that,
dude. So
you can't do that in a bad economy. Like you need everything to be running smooth.
Right. So check this out. So Army of the Dead. How does it end? Because it ends sort of the same way it started, right? Because Scott had to like basically off his wife in front of his daughter, right? And then in the end, his daughter had to off him because he was bitten.
Yeah. That's a weird parallel. That's a sad, I should say weird. It's a sad parallel.
Yeah. Between
the two of them. And I think that's like the hero's journey right there. You go through triumph, whatever, but you take losses along the way to become a better person. And like the daughter hated the father at the beginning of the movie.
Right.
And then she had like this, because like before, if he died, it wouldn't have been that big a deal. But now that the way that he died, it was sadness because, he did save her.
Right.
And he tried to save her friend, but her friend died because of the way the helicopter crashed. So
who did not know that Kate was going to go look for her 3 friends? Who did not know that? It was written on the wall.
That was going to happen. That was going to happen.
And here's the other thing.
There's a lot of people on the internet upset about that too.
Yeah, it's corny. That's just corny. I mean, if someone's going to give you a bag of money and say, hey, here's your creativity, do whatever you want to. I mean, don't give us the cookie cutter stuff, right? And here's the other thing. So they came out, they on the helicopter, they lost all the money, right?
Yeah.
They don't have any money.
He has a little whatever he had in his pocket.
He has that one stack. And I mean, it was a pretty big stack of hundreds.
This guy be like 30, 40,000.
That's not a lot of money after you just, went
through
after
all everything you went through. What you need to do is go find the Vanderho and figure like, yo, what's up?
He can't now. His daughter off him. She got Swiss cheese, one straight to the head. You know what I'm saying? For real. And here's the other thing. Okay, so what type of gun did Scott have? Because when he killed the alpha head just went bloop. But when Kate killed Scott, it was just like a bullet head, a bullet shot, and it was just like all you saw was. Did
she use the same gun? I don't remember. Did she use the same gun? Because he looked like he had like a Desert Eagle or something that he shot the alpha with.
Yeah, but that joint just split the alpha's head. Was like that's literally Swiss cheese for real. Again, Van comes out of like the nuclear holocaust unscathed. 4 bags of money. Finds a car with keys someplace. In a visor, he's able to drive to an airport. Get a private plane, drinks champagne. He's not feeling great. He goes into the bathroom.
Yeah.
He sees that he's bitten, and the plane is heading to Mexico City. So if there is a sequel, it's going to be wild
It's
because
gonna be around him. It's gonna be
20,
around him.
30 million people in Mexico City.
Yeah,
Forget about it.
It's gonna be craziness. Now
Let me
here's a
ask you this.
question.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
but here's the question.
Uh-huh.
Vanderho looked at the alpha like he knew him when he started fighting. They didn't look like a bunch of strangers that they never seen each other and like, oh my god, I've never seen this thing before. The way he put his arms up like, let's go do this.
Right.
He didn't look like, oh my god, there's an alpha here. What are we gonna do? He looked at him like, oh, time to go to work. So like, there's a very real possibility that Vanderho is also an alpha, or he's got some kind of drug, like like Captain America or something like that is going through him too. There's something going on here.
If there's another one coming out, and obviously Van may be the star of this, I'm gonna check it out. I want to see what happens because I'm interested in knowing if they're gonna go to Mexico City. Are we going to see zombies on the beach in bikinis? That's what I want to know. Are there going to be zombies on the beach in bikinis, drinking, having martinis, having margaritas on the beach? Here's the thing, right? And one really quick funny thing. So like when you were able to see all the zombies just in the streets of Las Vegas, it looked like a huge festival, didn't it?
Yeah.
And I was just wondering, the first thing I thought was, oh my goodness, I hope they don't show a zombie DJing. Just like,
well, they had all kind of DJs out there. They had other things out there.
Right.
They didn't have DJs, but they had like people who worked the tills, they had cashiers, they had all the stuff. I'm fairly certain there probably was, and we just didn't notice it.
Oh my goodness. It was a fun movie though. I must admit, if I don't like a movie, I'll watch it over a few days, but I was able to sit through this. And I mean, when I had to, make another drink or something, I paused and came back and rewind. I wanted to see everything about the movie. The other thing about this movie is, some movies you need subtitles. We spoke about this with the Tenet. This movie you really didn't need subtitles.
No, it's fine. It's loud.
It was fine. So. Great. I'm interested in seeing what comes next because I think I will watch it, and I think this is I mean, again, I'm not into zombie movies, but I think if these are the type of zombie movies I could watch.
I'm not a huge fan of the genre because of The Walking Dead. I'm all zombied out because of that show. Because I used to watch that show religiously.
The Dawn of the Dead, The Return of the Dead. I mean, and then you have oh my goodness.
I watched it, but The Walking Dead drives me crazy because people die because of the dumbest reasons known to man.
I've never ever seen that ever.
People die because, hey, I'm an ace zombie killer. I've killed 100 zombies. Let me go take a nap on the side of the road like this. This is the dumbest reasons people die in that show.
Come on.
It's just because your contract is up, and so it's time for you to die. So the person who takes the most caution is the most careless right before they die. I'm like, why? They go into a warehouse, and instead of hey, okay, how we normally do it. For the last 3 seasons, we work together. We found this out. I'm gonna wander off and not gonna tell anybody where I went. Come on, man. The Walking Dead is notorious for letting people die the dumbest ways possible. So because of that show, it kind of made me annoyed, drawing out watching zombie shows or zombie movies because everybody dies just the dumbest way possible. But I can say at least with this movie, nobody died because they were careless. They died because they got overpowered, or somebody stabbed them in the back. Like Martin stabbed the girl in the beginning. He threw the marker and put her on a wild goose chase because he didn't like her. So he made sure that she get in trouble.
It, dude? That was wow.
And she's another example of if you, in the beginning of the movie, she was like, I never killed a zombie before, but she turned into the best zombie killer of all time.
Oh my god,
she's laying everybody out.
She was and then when old boy when Cruz just put a bullet in the gas tank and then forget about it.
Oh man,
yeah. It was like, listen, it was okay. Let's wrap this up. Give your conclusion on Army of the Dead, and would you recommend this to viewers to go take a watch?
First things I would say, if you're watching this movie, do not expect it to follow the traditions of standard zombie movies.
Right.
Because this doesn't seem to be that. This is more of a sci-fi action movie heist rather than this is a zombie movie doing zombie stuff. They're not following anything, because Zack Snyder's like, I've done that already, screw that, we're going to do something different. So I think that you got to keep that in mind. Also, I think that it seems to be that this movie is more interested in trying to do things different as far as the zombie genre. And so if you're like, this, I got to do like this or whatever, this is not going to be for you. I personally, I think that it's enjoyable as a fun action movie. Just in general as an action movie, I think it's fun. And I like the characters, which is a question I have for you. But I'll ask that in a second. Overall, there's no characters that I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this person's on the screen. Why are they here? This is a terrible actor, or this is dumb. All of the actors on the screen I liked for whatever reason, for their purpose. If they're supposed to be a bad guy, they were a great bad guy. If you're supposed to be likable, you're very likable and enduring. Like the Safecracker was enduring. I like Vanderho was my favorite character out of it, and Lily, who's the coyote. Yeah. But I thought I would hate Dieter, but I like Dieter. I thought Dieter was a good character.
Dieter was cool.
He's interesting. He was cool. I didn't have any issues when they were explaining the thing. I was like, man, Dieter's gonna be annoying, but he turned out to be kind of cool. I didn't mind him at all. So it's a fun type of movie. You got to turn your brain off. Do not watch this movie if you're trying to explain stuff, because you're gonna fail miserably. You can't. It's a zombie movie. This thing can't happen. Right. So the normal stuff that you think should happen, just watch it. Just watch it. Right. You got to turn your brain off.
Don't explain.
So yeah, that's what I think.
You said you had a question.
What did you have any characters that you liked or didn't like from the movie?
I will say this, right? I thought all the characters were on point for what they were, for what they did, for the space they occupied in this movie. I did think that Scott Ward, when I was watching the movie, I kept thinking like The Rock could play this like part. I just kept thinking that like this, The Rock could have done this, but maybe not, because in the end, like Scott Ward, he got Swiss cheese. He got, he was killed. Yeah. I thought I did like Van. I like his part, his role. I also like Kate too. I like her, sort of part, and I like her role, but I just didn't like the fact that they went back to the whole corniness of like, okay, you're going to go do what you should not do, So, but my conclusion,
I hate that
I mean, my conclusion of the movie is it's a good movie to watch. I'm really interested in watching the next one. If they're going to be in Mexico City, I'm going to be highly disappointed if I do not see any zombies on a beach in thong bikinis, drinking like margaritas, having Pacifico beers with the guys. I'm going to be highly disappointed. And I want to see a zombie DJ too in the next movie.
I think because it's Zach and Netflix said you can do whatever you want, the odds are high you're going to see that. You're going to see something like that.
That's the other thing. I'm glad you brought up his name. That's the other thing I wanted to say. I'm actually liking Zack Snyder like more and more as I see his movies, I'm like, because 300 blew me away. 300 was just a
phenomenal movie.
That's like, that's a crack movie for real. That just blew me away. And then when I saw the Justice League on HBO Max, I was like, okay, other than it being like, 18 hours long, it was a good movie, right? This movie, and I'm like, okay, I like this guy. I'm liking his movies. I see his thinking, how he tries to put it all together. He's a real sort of cerebral, creative sort of guy when it comes to these movies. So again, I gave it a 7, which is really high for me, and it being a zombie flick. And I think I'm looking forward to the next release that's going to happen in Mexico City. Folks, we need zombies in bikinis, for real. That's what I want to see.
I'll say this. I like Zach as a person. He's real personable. And when he was going through all this crap with Warner Brothers and Justice League, he was talking directly to fans because he has like a type of social media platform called Vero. And you can sign up on Vero and just ask him questions and he'll answer it.
Wow.
And so cool. fans were, asking him questions about the movies. And he does a lot of stuff like he'll rewatch a movie and then he'll stream the movie with his fans. And so, the fans can do like a live Q&A and he'll explain, well, this is my thinking about why I did that. Here's the storyboards for what I was doing. This is why I did this. And so like, if you don't like his movies,
wait a minute, really quickly. He releases the storyboards too?
Yeah. He'll show you. He has like because he draws the storyboards. For right. He's like a cinematographer too. So he'll go and he'll pull up the book and show you a scene and be like, so I had this. He'll have like the stick drawings or whatever. He'll be like, well, I wanted to have the camera over his shoulder so that it can invade this kind of emotion. And you'll understand his thinking for like so. If you have questions about his movie, just watch his interviews. He loves doing interviews or talking to fans, breaking down what he's doing for movies. And I think that is going to be the future for directors, especially on platforms like Netflix and Amazon and stuff like that. The directors, not just the actors, but the directors have a direct pipeline to talk to fans and so they can explain what they did or like give ideas from fans about what they would like to see in their next movie, because that's basically after Zack filmed Batman v Superman, he started talking directly to the fans more. And so the whole ordeal with Justice League, it was out in the open. So he would be like on Vero and put up a picture of like, yo, Justice League is awesome. You got to believe me. All right. Look at this scene.
Check it out.
This is not in the movie. Warner Brothers took this out, but like, this is what's supposed to happen here. These guys butchered this thing. And so he did that for like 4 years.
Wow.
Of like, yo, here's a little snippet. Here's behind the scenes thing with the camera. Talking directly to the actors. And then when he announced the 4-hour Justice League, he had a Q&A stream where he streamed, I think it's Man of Steel. And so he watched the whole movie Man of Steel. And then Henry Cavill was on there and his wife was a producer. And he had actual fans who wrote letters to Warner Brothers. They were on the stream with him. And they got to ask him questions or whatever. But like,
that's cool.
I like that. I like whatever you think about his movies or whatever, or him as a person.
Yeah.
I like the fact that he's talking directly to the people.
He's hands-on.
And like he's hands-on and letting people know
that's
like
cool.
This is why I did this.
That's cool.
So I like that.
I think I'm gonna watch some more of his movies. I think that is a very cool way to go. Like in this whole streaming wars, sort of like space we're in now. Like, how are you going to connect? Exactly, it adds all this value. Opposed to like you make a movie in a Hollywood studio and then you just release it and you sit back and you collect checks. I love the way he does his thing. Again,
this is the future.
Exactly. So there you have it. Army of the Dead. I would definitely go check this out. It's on Netflix. It's again, we gave it a 7. We think it's a watch. We're looking forward to the next one. Hopefully that'll take place in Mexico City. I want to see zombies in bikinis and go check it out. So there you have it. Another episode of the Behind the Groove podcast. I am Basil Barrington.
I'm DJ Keo.
Thanks for watching. And until next time, peace.
All right.